Right. Today we have to discuss about the data structures, the basic data structures. So in Python, and that is basically lists, tuples, and dictionaries. So that part we need to discuss, because like we have not discussed that previously. So let's say, so these are the things that available in Python. So we have like before discussing this list, tuples, dictionaries, I would like to show you the importance of strings, right? So strings, because like with the string we can learn a lot. So when you learn about the string, so then it's easy to understand list, tuples, and dictionaries. Okay, so let's move through this quickly. Right. So the basic data types available in Python. So these are the basic data types available in Python, and integer, float, Boolean. So these are basics. Basics means like you can store only one value at a time. Okay, let's see one thing. For example, if you have a value 5, so then you can add this another value. Let's see. So if these are integers, if you want to check, you can check the type. Check using the type function. So type function will give you, when you get when you input the value, so it gives you its class int, which means it's integer, right? You can just do this with me. Type 5 or type, so any integer here. So you can place any integer here, it will return integer. And so if it is a very large one, still you can see it's integer, right? So small and large numbers, Python uses integer. But if these numbers are fractional or decimal, so if these numbers are fractional or decimal, it returns float, right? So similarly, you can use a fraction. So 5 divided by 10, something like that. And anyway, it's written float. Float is the type which is used to represent these fractional values, right? That is float. And then, so integer, float, and Boolean. Boolean is a logic value. So for an example, if you use capital T true, so remember the spellings is capital T true. It's not simple T true. So if you put like simple T true, it's written in error because it doesn't recognize that. But this true and false in capital, so only the first letter, right? It returns bool. Bool means Boolean. It's a logical value. Okay, these are the basic. And one more thing, so that is type, let's say hello or something. If you test that, so I'll get str, which is string, right? These are the basic types available in Python. Okay, so anything unclear, please ask, right? Anything unclear, please ask. I have just done this very quickly, but if you have anything unclear, please tell me. Okay, this string has specialty. You can assign this to variables even. So for an example, x equal 10, then you can check the type of x. Right, you can see it returns string, right? It returns string because like even it is assigned to a variable, so it is treating similarly. So let's say y equal 4.5 e e plus 10, something like this. So you know, so that is scientific representation. And when you ask y and says float, so anyway, any fractional, any decimal number will be treated as float. So similarly, you can assign these to variables and then check still the type remains. So string, so what is the specialty that string has? So let's say a name, and I'm going to give my name as a string. Dasun, Nilanjana, and let's call it. So let's see now. So you can just print the name itself and you can see it's giving the full name. But if you get 0, 1, 2 like, so you can get the index. So name 0, name within square bracket 0, that will give D. So likewise, you can get specific character number. So starting from 0, let's say 5. 5 is space because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That returns this. That is space. So print 6. So likewise, you can get the character value. So that is possible with strings. You can get the character index or character value. That is possible with strings. And the next thing is like you can even get the ranges. So similarly, you can say start from 0 and go up to 5, and then print Dasun 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and stops when it reaches 5. So that is returning 0 to 4. So similarly, 0 or 10, so you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So returning from 0 to 9. So the 10 is the limit. When it reaches 10, stops. So similar to the loops that we have used, so you can give a range. Then you can give the stepping point 2. Stepping point means go 2 by 2. So you can say it's going D, then take S, then take N, then take the space is skipped N, and L. So these you will go 2 by 2. So that is also possible. You can get an index, get index range, or you can get you can give like the stepping point as well. So for an example, you can, if you want to give a reverse indexing, so you can start from, let's say 10, and if you want to go up to 0 and going by -1 like so you can reverse this, you can see, right? So starting from here, starting from the 10th index. 10th index is in my name the 10th index. So what is the 10th? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10th index is N. You're starting from N and reversing NALIN and NU. Okay, so likewise, it's a reversing. And when it reach 0, it stops. So it's not printing 0th character, right? So remember, always it's not going to the second margin. So here it's reaching only 4 and stop. Reaching 9 and stop. Reaching 9 and stop. Here reaching 1 and stop. It's not going up to 0. Reaching 1 and stop. If you want 0 as well, you have to tell -1. So then it will reach. Sorry, you have to tell not -1. Sorry, you have to keep it blank. You have to keep it blank, and that will reach the end. That will reach the end. That is how you have to include D. Similarly, if you need this to be forward, and you can start from 0 and keep it blank and go 1 by 1, it will print the entire name. Understand how it works. So when it is blank, it will decide the end, right? When it is blank 1, so it is same. And if it is blank, it's also same. And if it is blank, still same. So if it is only one blank, so this is syntax error. You don't have such. If you print just name, so then this is the way that you need to print. So these are some other alternative ways, because these parameters, whatever the indexes that you are given, are like optional. When it is reaching the end, the indexes are optional. When it reaching the end, the entire thing, then only these are optional. Otherwise, you have to specifically mention the index. Okay, so that is what the string is. This is how strings are accessed. Can you just try this out, and I'll give you example for this. So here you can just copy down this note too. So while doing that, because it explains how these indexes are pointed. Okay, this is the topic is string. Since we have learned the basic type, no need to write down that. So just start from the string, and there you can start. So you can see the indexes are starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, likewise it's incrementing, and the reverse indexes are starting from minus. So means like if you want to print any, so for an example, if you print -1, it will be the last character. Dasun, Nilanjana, the last character. -2 will be the next last character. -3 will be the next last character. Likewise, minus indexes are there. So if I give -15, you can see it's letter D, the first character. Right? First character is -15 because Dasun, Nilanjana, how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. -15 is the last character. Okay, please write down this quickly and show how indexes are pointed. And then also try this. This give you exposure how these list tuples will work. So just understand from the strings. Okay, do it now. Right, okay. Then now you know how this moves. So how the indexes are appointed or how the indexes are assigned. So that then actually, so we can use few. So these are some other things that we can use with strings. So one is length. So if you want to calculate the length, you can say print the length of the particular strings or name. That will give the length. Length is 15. And this can be used as a parameter. Right, please write down this part also, print in a letter and also print in a range. So this is how it happens, the theory behind that. And so while writing, please try to understand this. So since you know the length of this, you can use length as a indexing option. So for an example, I can print, if I want to print the last character, I can say name. Within the square brackets, I can say length of name. That is 15. No? That is, so if I try to print length of name, it gives error. Sorry, length of name, it gives error. So the reason is that is not a proper index. That is out of range in the index because you don't have item called 15. But you have 14th item. So to access that, you can say -1. Then you say a letter will come. Because you start from 0. So last item is, so for an example, this is not 15th character, this is 14th character here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 13, 14, 14th character. So you have to tell the length -1 to print the last character. Or to print the first character, you can say minus length. -15 is the first character. So that also you can write length. So length will give 15. Length of this is 15. So -15 is the first character. But the last character is +14. The last character is +14. First character is -15. So I hope you understand, right? Okay, let's say there's a string called X, and that is hello. Of this, the first character, you can see it is, if you print X0, that is the first character. So if you print X -4, that is the last character. Sorry, X +4. X +4 is the last character, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you print reverse indexing, X -1 is the last character. That is also O. Both are equal. X4 is equal to X -1. And X -5 is the first character. X -5 is the first character. So that is one more than the negative index is one more than the positive index. So X0 is equal to X -5. And X4 is equal to X -1. So this is how the indexing, reverse indexing and indexing happens. So please write down this part quickly. How an index is accessed then. So just try this length parameter, length function too. Okay, with that, we have better idea. Okay. Right, let's see now how, so through the link, so through the screens, we can just think about, right. So these are some special points, you know, from starting to point, starting to end. If you want to print, you can use this or this or, so the reverse indexing. For reversing, so if you want to reverse print, like let's say hello, you want to reverse, and you can say X, you can start from empty, end from the empty, and you can go -1. -1 is the step in -1. It should be ole, the other way, right? Ole, so that the hello will be reversed. That is how the reversing part happens. And I'll give you small things. So can you try to can you try to print this? Input the full name and try to print the name with initials. What you need to do is input full name and try to print name with initials. Can you try to do this? Right, this is a question. Input the full name and try to print name with initials. For an example, if I input, like, let's say n equal input, enter your name. You can do this with a new file, right? So I'm just doing this in the shell, but you can do this in new file. So let's say I have entered the Dasun. Sorry. I have entered my name. I need the result as d.n.sirimevan. So this is the result that I am expecting. I need D and Sirimevan once when I enter my full name. I need the name with initials. Can you just try to do this? It's a very small exercise. Just give a try. So not with my name, should be working with any name, right? Maybe your name, your father's name, your mother's name, your sister's name, so whatever. So it should work with any name that is given as the input. Can you just give a try? You can do this really, really great. So, but when there are two names, very easy. So like you said, so if your name has two names, so you can let's say these are, so I'm defining another variable to collect the initials. So for sure the name 0 will be an initial for sure, because for any name given, the first letter can be taken as initial, right? So that is there. And after that, you can add a dot to this. You can add a dot to this. Then, so very important thing is, so initials are separated, you know, in front of each initial, there is a space, right? Each, like n is an initial, in front of that, there's a space. So if S is initial, in front of that, there's a space. That feature is there. So these are the things, these are the keys, right? So, okay. So if you want to get, for an example, if you want to get this space, right, you can do something like this for, let's say for letter in, so this is one way, for letter in name, right? For letter in name, you can check whether if this letter is equal to space. So for letter in name, like for letter in name, if you are printing that letter, you know, all the letters will be printed. So that is a loop that we can use to access each letter in a string, right? So let's do this first. So get some idea, right? Get some idea through this. So let's run this and let's say I'm going to print like, okay, something like this. So let's save this, and when you run this, you can see enter your name. And if I'm typing my name as Dasun Nilanjana only, so you can see it's printed downwards. It's printed downwards. So each letter is accessed. I can check whether it has space. So without printing that, I can check whether it has a space. To do that, I can check if letter has space, right? If letter has space. Actually, then you need to do something. If there's a space, the next immediate letter will be an initial. Right? Next immediate letter will be initial. So you can start this from 0. Let's say z equals 0. That is the 0th index. So when you're accessing a letter, you can like increment this by 1. C equals c plus 1. Right? Or you can just start with the -1, so which is like out of this, and the first time when you access the letter, so c will be incremented, and so c will be printed. Let's print the c, and left if letter is, if this is blank, then let's print the particular letter name. I'm just printing cth character. So let's see what will happen. At first you are printing the z, but if letter space letter is equal to space, you are printing the particular index. So let's see what will happen when you run this code again. Now we are here, you are printing, enter your name, and I'm giving my name, Dasun Nilanjana, and you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you're trying to print this. This is a space. Space has come, don't know why. So let's see, name C. Okay, it's going up to 614. So these are the things, like you can see, it represents if letter equal to space, it's printing the name, okay, and the seed character. Yes, that is space, right? The seed character is space. This one, this space. But I need the, not the C, I need the next character, C plus 1, because next will be the initial. So let me run this again one more time, and you can see it's printing. Let me give the Dasun Nilanjana, and you can see it's printing N. N is an initial, so we have recognized that. Now we don't need the C. We don't want to print the C, but N is initial, right? But that is initial of the last name, right? That is initial of the last name, so that is actually not an initial. So if there are 3 names, this is a mechanism. This is only a mechanism. So let's try to give a longer name. Let's say Dasun Nilanjana Sirimevan, and now you can see it prints N and it prints S. That is good. Anyway, the 0th letter is also taken at the initials. 0th letter is already there in the initials, and you are printing this and this. So let's do something like this. Can't we do something like this? I can add this to the initials, right? I can add this to the initials. That means initials equal initials plus the new letter which is arriving. The new letter which is arriving, that is this N and S. And after that, I need a dot. Initials equal the current initials plus the newcomer after the space plus the dot. That is why I said you have to think a little. So this is not easy. You have to implement. This is what you need to develop. Throughout the program, I mentioned this is what you need to develop. Thinking ability, right? When you print like this, you can see it's printing all the characters. Okay. but that is not what we need. So let's print the initials now. Okay, you can see DNS. It has counted. It has counted the D, that is the name 0, and N and S, which came after the space. N and S, which came after the space. Now it has counted. They have found initials and concatenated them together, added them together. Okay, now the problem. I don't need all the initials. I need initials. I don't need all the initials. You know how to get this, how to filter out. I don't need all the initials. Instead of that, I need starting from the start place, ending place, and actually ending place should be -2, right? This is -1, -2, right? From the start to end, -2, I need that. So you can see it's giving D and S N only. Why? Because I said stop from the -2 index. -2 index is, this is -1 index, this is -2 index. It will be dropped. So I have dropped the initial, which is taken as a false initial. First I have taken all the initials. Understand the logic, right? So did you understand the logic, Minaga?
Yeah.
Yes, I have counted each letter after the space. N is an initial. Then after space, S is an initial, but S is a false initial. Why? S is the last name. So that is a false initial. That false initial will be counted in any name. This will be counted. So if I give, like, for an example, okay, let's give like this very long name, something like this. Okay, Disanayaka Mudiyan Selage. Let's say Amila Nuan Disanayaka. So this is a very long name. Okay, it has 48 letters. If I print the initials, you can see D-M-A-N-D, right? Disana, D-M-A-N-D. So last one is false. For sure, last one is false because it is not initial, it is the letter of last one. So what you can do, you can start from the 0th index, go up to -2. -2 means the reverse side. -1 and -2, because you can't count from the first side, no, because you don't know how many letters will be there. Or you have to count the length. You have to get the length and get length -1, 2, length -2, or actually length -3. So that is another way, right? You can give initial, start from 0 and go up to length of initials. So normally it is -1, no, this is -3. So then also stake in D-M-A-N. And if you give -2, it's giving the dot as well, D-M-A-N. This is another way of doing that. Or you can just directly tell, because you know the last indexes are starting from minus levels, no? Because we have learned about this minus indexing. This is -1, this is -2. Stop when you reach -2. So that is another way of getting the same. Anyway, this way you can get the indexes. Right, now you have a question. So what is that? How to get the last name added to this? How to get the last name added to this? Can you implement that? Can you add the last name to this, please? So I know you have to, like, maybe you have to make your brain tired little bit, right, by thinking, because it is also a challenge. Now this way you can anyway get the initials and filter out the initials. Actually, how to, so let's add the filtering part to this code itself. You can say print the initials which are filtered. Filtered means starting from 0 but go up to -2 only. Don't get all the initials. I need the filtered initials. Likewise, you can filter out the initials, and this printing part you can skip, ignore. This line is not needed. I have commented. So you can just, when you give the name, so now see, when you give the name, let's say Dasun, Nilanjana, Sirimevan, and you can say DN. It gives DN. I need the Sirimevan part. Okay, maybe your father's name, if you try to give, so I don't know the middle name. So it is Aruna. So what's the middle name? Is there any middle name?
I don't know the middle name either.
Let's say Aruna, something like Aruna Kumar, something like this. So then you can say AK, right? AK, and so likewise, anyway, it gives result for any name now, regardless of how many names you have. Right? Your name is Minaga Disana, is it? Your name?
Yes.
Okay. So regardless of anything, any name that you give, so it will anyway counted, right? So then, okay. You can say M will be taken. So that means no matter how long your name, no matter how many parts are there in your name, this is what the algorithm means, right? So please understand, your code should be applicable for any kind of input. Your code should be applicable for any kind of input. Can you do this now, please? Difficult. Yes. Is it easy or difficult? You have to think. Pretty difficult, right? Okay. So how can we think, right? How can we think? Like, we need the last name, right? We need the last name. So last name can be taken. So if you know the last space, if you know the last space, the last name can be counted. So okay, so can I do something like this? For an example, the first space, I'm just putting s equals 0. The first space is 0. Then when there's a space found, I'm assigning this s to that space, right? That is the seed index. So C is the index, right? C is going from 0 to end. So you have taken C plus 1 as the next initial. And so what I can do is, I can get this same C plus 1. I can get this same C plus 1 assigned to the space index. Space index. So then let me print this space index. I'm printing the space index. So let's see what will happen, right? Oh, sorry. This is the innovative part that we need to do. So let's run the code. When you run the code, you can see, enter your name. Let's say Dasun Nilanjana. You can see 6 is the S. 6. Only one space founded, that is there in here, the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the letter which comes just after that. Then if you know this letter, you can get from 6 to the balance, right? So let's try one more time. Enter name. I'm telling Dasun Nilanjana Sirimevan. And this time you are getting 2, 6 and 16. 6 is here. 16 is here. So what I need? I need 60, the last digit. That means whatever the S comes finally, I can get that. So if I can print that as this name, I need from S, starting from S to the end. S to the end. End, you can just say blank. S to the end. So let's see what will happen now. I'm printing name S to the end. Enter name, and I'm entering my name. You can see it's getting DNR, this part, because S is 16, 16 to the end. That is the last name. I think now you understood that is not difficult. Only thing is thinking is difficult, right? So now you can add that name S to the end. S is actually the place where you find the last, so you find the space, and after that letter, the index of that letter is S. And from that S, actually, ultimately, you are getting from that S. This is not needed. Printing part is not needed. I'm commenting that. You are getting from that S to the end. So the first S is here. That is not what we need. The last S is here. From this S, which means 16 to the end. So that is my last name. So now this is applicable for anything. Let me add this to a function. I'm adding this to a function, def tell, okay, name with initials. Let's say name with initials, NWI. That is a function, and put a colon. All these things I'm indenting under that. So I can recall this function. That's easy now. So let me call this NWI function. NWI function. It's asking name, and I'm pasting my name, and you can see it results D and Sirimevan. Very good. NWI function again. Now this time I'm giving this name. You can see it gives AK Disanayaka. Right, I can recall the NWI function, and so let's say this is a Minaga Mesa Disanayaka, and you can see that is M Disanayaka. Right? So it's applicable for any name. So even though you take a very long, lengthier name, still it applicable. So let's say you have taken something like this very long name. Still this works. It's called the NWI function again, and paste this long name. You can see DMAN design, as you can see. It works for any. Why I have assigned this to a function? Because I can recall that. Otherwise, I have to run it again and again. That is a headache. So rather than running it again, I can assign everything to a function. Then I can run as a function, right? So function we already learned. Okay. Did you understand the point?
Yeah.
But I know thinking along will be much little difficult. But with if you practice these things, right? Try to practice these things, Vinaga. So I know it's like in your age, thinking and generating this from the beginning we are challenging. Like you can do that, but to do that you have to tune your brain. That will take some time. That will definitely take some time. But when you practice, you will understand to solve how to solve the similar problems, right? Therefore, please practice. Okay, let me stop from here for today. Have you taken down this?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, take a screenshot also. I'll stop from here for today. And next day, I'll be discussing the remaining part. And good night. Next day means tomorrow, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And goodbye. Right?
Okay.